All right, folks. So welcome to this week. We are. This is right now. It's the 18th of February, and I just want to give you guys an update on last week, where I'm going, where I am with the grading on the post that you did last week. So I'm done with all of the grading for the discussion that was due on the 14th. I'll be working on Friday's due date discussions over the next couple of days and give you feedback on those. I'm spending some time on giving you feedback. So I want to remind y'all a couple of things. So now we're moving into, so the next module 5 that you're going to be working on is actually writing a paper. So you're going to be doing a minor paper or kind of what we consider a minor paper. So we're not doing a discussion post right now, so you've already done those or several of those, giving feedback on those. A week from tomorrow, so the 27th of February, your draft of your paper is going to be due with a response to somebody else who has their paper. And so try to get those done sooner than later so people can read and give feedback. So let's talk a little bit about the posts and what we're doing as far as writing, and what we're looking at with regards to replies and responses. So go to my notes here. With regards to the posts themselves, so this is going to translate into the papers themselves. We have framework. We have what's going on. We have like the general idea really, really good. But there are several of you who are just really crushing those. And you saw that with your grades. But we want to make sure, so you might want to, if you are a student where you got a grade that maybe you weren't stoked about, or you need to improve that, you might want to go back and look at the posts and look at yours gauged to some of the other of your peers who are really providing a great deal of insight, a great deal of balance, utilizing the texts to support their assertions, making sure that you're connecting, making sure that you're tying your ideas together so the paragraphs work in concert, as opposed to just being autonomous, paragraph on this, paragraph on this. You're writing about something that is cohesive. So those are some of the things that people have been doing very, very well. There's a phrase I've used for much of my teaching career, and it's called seek the unique. So make sure that you're looking to find ideas and connections in the text that are unique, that are interesting, that are fun to write about. Because if you find those, typically I find the writing becomes or stays fresh and stays something that you're excited about as well. I will throw in the caveat of please make sure, and the posts and your essays and posts after this should be your thoughts, not somebody else's. I'm not wanting you to go to ChatGPT or to Google or to Wikipedia or to wherever you're going to pull your ideas and your thoughts out of this. I want you to really dive into your thoughts and what you think you want to write about. And I'm going to get into the assignment here in just a minute, but that means that you behoove yourself. It behooves you to, or it benefits you to go through all of the components of the module. I'm finding, or I feel that I'm not with you, so I'm not stalking you. I don't know what's going on, but with what you're doing at least, it seems to me that many of you might just be going to the assignment, reading the text, going to the assignment, and then doing the assignment without going through any of the ancillary or the support materials that are available, the videos, the explanations, the definitions that are provided for you to kind of build your knowledge to do the assignment. And you're jumping into the assignment. Some of you clearly are doing that. And there are some of you who aren't reading the assignment fully. So for example, the post, you need to rate, explain your rating, and then like for the one that was due on the 14th, write about the setting, and you would need to include what the setting is, why you think the setting is that way, what is the author utilizing language from the text that explains that, for each of the texts, and then you're going to write about the tone, and then what is the tone? How does the tone change? How does the tone shift? How does the author express this tone? What are the images they're creating? What is the language they're creating? What are the relationships they're creating? Very few of you actually, with Hurston Sweat, took it to fruition and dealt with like the irony of him trying to scare her with this whip, but in the end being to die from a bite. Anyway, read the whole of the story, read all of the materials, and that is so important with this paper that's coming up. You need to understand what we're talking about, what I'm asking you to do here. So with that in mind, let's look at the assignment. So this is available to you on Monday. So I'm doing this on Sunday. I'm doing this recording on Sunday. So it'll be available to you tomorrow. So I want to talk about some of the aspects of this. First of all, step 1, read through the short analysis essay SAE 1 guidelines. They are, and I'm going to click on this and go through that in just a second, but they're right here. So when you look at the guidelines, we'll go to the assignment, which will also be available for you tomorrow. So go over the assignment first. Before you do anything else, read over the assignment. I'm going to go over it, and hopefully you will have watched this. I'm hoping that putting these up as assignments helps to steer you in this direction. I know that they're long. I'm probably not very exciting, but I'm giving you information. If you want to be successful in this class that I'm the instructor in, I'm trying to give you as much insight from me to help you do well in the class. Step 2, you're going to write your draft. Complete your first draft of the paper based on your opinion and nothing else. Please do not use external research. It says it right there. Write your thesis by creating a single sentence that includes the topic and claims for your essay. Draft the introduction, body, and conclusion paragraphs. This is absolutely a rough draft, wholeheartedly. But it's not what a lot of people call a sloppy copy. And that when you post your draft to this assignment, this should not be your original draft. You should draft, craft, revise, and think, you know what? This is a solid version of what I'm writing. This should not be something you're rushing right at the end, like, oh crap, I got to turn this in, and throw some nonsense together that doesn't effectively do what we're asking you to do, what I'm asking you to do in the assignment. So this should not be an original draft that we're seeing. If it is, the feedback you get is going to be on an original draft, not something that you feel comfortable with, and that's not going to be overly effective in doing the final draft. So anyway, so you're going to then post your draft to the discussion board for review. You're more than welcome, if you're using Word or Google Docs, I am more than happy or welcome for you to send me your draft via email as an attachment, or to share it with me, or to send it to me, like I say, as a Word doc, and I can open it up and give you comments, line by line comments. I'm not going to fix everything. I will say, you'll see what my comments are going to look like, and I will talk about that next weekend when it comes time for that. However, I just want to get you going on the assignment. Then your step 4 is to do one peer review. In order to earn peer review credit for this post, be sure to respond to one peer's draft that does not yet have a response. If you get to this and everybody has a response to it, then you can choose one. But if you get there and you're like, oh, they've already got a response, they've got a response, you can't do those. Do one that doesn't have a response. The sooner you get these in, the better the feedback is. For me specifically, I'll have the next post graded in the next couple of days. That means that if you get a draft in Thursday or Friday, I have plenty of time to look at it and give you some feedback. If you're rushing at the end, I'll get the feedback next week, but it will be quicker, and because there's only so much time in a day. So anyway, you do that. Please read through the entire draft before you make your comments. Next, include a response to the draft that answers each of the following questions. Do I understand the author's stance, restated in your own words? Do I understand the importance, who, why, where, who, how, why of the topic, restated in your own words? How is the author supporting their opinion throughout the essay? What information is used as support? Is it enough? What could be added to further support his or her view? Explain this. So this is where somebody makes a claim about, let's say, the way Hurston uses dialect. And if you're not using the text and the dialect and how that would be said in normal terms and why Hurston might be utilizing the dialect the way she's utilizing it, if you're not using the text, there's no support that you must, with everything you're asserting, bring in textual evidence to back that up. And then project suggestions. What else do you want to know? What kind of questions might you have at the end? What else, if anything, do you think the author should include in his or her paper? So you get to the end, you're like, you know what, this is really good. But I really think that I would like to see how, say, O'Brien, how he takes on, Jimmy Cross's missing of Martha in the middle. You talk about the beginning and the end, but not so much in the middle, and those references as we're going through. I'd like to see some more of that. That would be good insight for someone. Or how Kafka, he talks about, we know it's an insect, but he talks about in the beginning, the translation is vermin and not insect. And so what might vermin mean, and how might Kafka and the translation impact the understanding and our understanding? So maybe something like that would be something you could add as someone's writing their paper. You have to read the paper first before you know. All right. So what I'd like to do, without further ado, is go to the assignment itself. So let's click here. So when you go, this will open up the assignment. So here is the short analysis essay 1. Purpose: to show that you base your opinion on the close reading of a text that can cite the sources correctly. This is your opinion. And your opinion, I can't tell you your opinion's wrong. However, your opinion can be wrong, I guess is maybe the wrong word. Let me use wrong a few more times. If you are not supporting and backing up your opinion with language from the text, and if it doesn't make sense within the text, so for example, with Cathedral, if you talked about how Raymond Carver doesn't like people with disabilities, such as people who are blind, because he wrote this story about somebody who's blind, and this guy critiques it, like, that might be your opinion, but I would need to have some sort of textual evidence that would imply that, and that would be a claim that you can't really prove here. So that would be an incorrect claim, or an inappropriate claim. Maybe that's a better word for it. All right. So the skills, we're looking for you to analyze one of the short stories, determine your claim about the story. This is on you, so you're choosing your claim. Select details from the text, support your claim, compose a well-organized, clear, concise, mechanically correct essay. When I say concise, how long should this essay be? I'm thinking somewhere between 500 and 1,000 words would be a good rendition of this essay. So if I say 500 to 1,000, I'm probably thinking 750. So about 3 pages would be good ballpark range for a paper such as this. Craft a clear thesis, so I'm understanding what it's about, and cite the story in the text using MLA formatting, which is going to be pretty significant, as you see with the ancillary information. That's a lot about MLA. Step 1, choose a text. I absolutely recommend you're choosing a text that you enjoyed. So when you're looking at those ratings, you're like, oh, this one was a 1 out of 5. I thought it sucked. I wouldn't choose that one. But this one was a 5 out of 5. I really enjoyed reading this story, for sure. By the way, the 2 stories in the beginning are off limits, not the death ones. Those are way too simple, way too short. Do not use either of those. I'm talking about some of the, Cathedral, the Rose for Emily, Good Man is Hard to Find, the Kafka piece, the O'Brien piece, the Hurston. That's what I'm talking about with the choosing of the text. Choose the one that you like. Reread the chosen short story to ensure that you have solid understanding of the elements used. Absolutely re-engage with it. I would absolutely be taking notes again. If you could add them to the notes you may have already taken, or if you didn't take any notes, I'm absolutely taking notes as I'm writing. And so we're going to talk about make a claim. Determine which literary element or elements you will write about. Now, What could these be? Well, they could absolutely be setting. They could absolutely be tone. They could absolutely be theme. They could absolutely be imagery, the figurative language, dialect, organization. Any of those are literary elements. Anything the writer is doing as a writer to create his or her literature. That's a literary element. And if you go back and look at the tools that were provided for you in the other modules, there's lists of different elements you could use. You've already written about a couple of them, and if you love what you wrote about tone with regards to, metamorphosis, use that. I'm down with that. You've already started that. I'm not asking you to reinvent the wheel, but I would absolutely expand upon what I've done. Don't just copy and paste that. Step 2, make a claim. Determine which literary element or elements you will use. I'm on this. Create a thesis that presents the article, author, and claim. Example, Gilman's the yellow wallpaper used symbolism to help present the protagonist's despair and conditions to the audience. We didn't read the yellow wallpaper in this course, but it's a completely valid story to use, just we didn't use it. But that would be the beginning of what I would consider a working thesis. You may get more specific as you're going. Next, step 3, create the essay. Do not do any outside research on the story. Instead, look at the story closely and the elements used within. Write an essay in which you thoroughly explain your claim. Use cited material, quotes, absolutely. Consider what makes you think the claim is true. Reference sections, details, or lines from the story, absolutely. And bring them in as quotes. Use MLA formatting, double space, 1-inch margins, 12-point font. Citation to cite the article or story in which the essay you're using. A works cited page for sure. Consider reading through the sample essays in a writer's reference, section L, absolutely. And also in this discussion, I'm not sure, the Purdue Online Writing Lab is another great tool that you can utilize also. Also, to go to the Writing Center on campus is a great source also. And I think that they can do actually virtual assistance there too. So anyhow, Emily formatting, step 4, absolutely submit the assignment. This is going to be talking about the assignment at the end. At the end, you will be submitting a PDF or a Word doc, a PDF from a Google Doc file or a Word doc that will be submitted to this. When you do your draft, you're going to copy and paste or attach a document onto your the post for you by the 27th. So this is for the final paper. And then step 6, review instructor comments. After you submit, I will be putting comments on there. And again, like I mentioned before, you're welcome to provide a link, or you can share it with me on email. You can send me a document, PDF or a Word doc via email if you are comfortable with that. And I'm happy to give comments on the paper after you've done that. So again, if you do that on Thursday, I can get to that sooner and you start your revision sooner. But I understand life gets in the way too. So after the 27th, I'll be rolling through those and giving comments. I will just have probably less time then, because we know how that procrastination bus works. All right, so I'm going to go back now away from this essay back to the review. So this is going to be due on the 27th of February. So that's a week from tomorrow, Monday, the 19th. So you have a week to write this draft and get it in. I, again, cannot emphasize enough how, if it were me doing this, I would be making my goal by Friday. I would say, I don't have any other stuff. I've already read the stories. It's just rereading. It's picking an element. It's writing a thesis statement. And if you're struggling with thesis statements or your elements, absolutely, Monday, Tuesday, send me an email. Send me a note. Hey, Mr. Bell, I'm trying to get my elements together. Here's some ideas I have. What are your thoughts? I will be glad to help you with those. So do not hesitate to send this to me. Now, if you're doing this and you're kicking that can down the road and it's Sunday morning, so the 26th, and you're like, oh, I've not even done anything with this. Let me try to work. Like, that's pushing the envelope to where you're not going to be as successful as you could be. But if on Monday, Tuesday, you send me an email, here's what I'm thinking of my thesis. What are your thoughts? I'm happy to give you that feedback. Happy to. So please do that. Or any other ideas or thoughts or concerns. I'm happy to address those. Any way that I can help you do well on this, I want to do. I will tell you, and we're starting to find out, I am not overly tolerant with work that may have been borrowed or used from other sources, or work that may be non-student generated. So I'm not tolerant, but I also understand that oftentimes those mistakes that are made that way are inadvertent, in that you might have thought that that was okay, or whatever I did was okay. And I'm happy to guide you in how to maybe make that okay, as opposed to taking a 0 or a bad grade on an assignment. That's up to you. I'm here to help. Happy to do it, but you need to take the initiative to get in touch with me on that. And several of you have, and I can't tell you how much I appreciate you doing that, and hopefully that's working out too. I think that's all I have. Let me check my notes. Draft review, sources, MLA, Module 5. That's all I got. I hope you have a great week. I'm looking forward to seeing these essays and these drafts. The sooner you get them in, the better. And the better review you get, and the more time you have to revise for the final draft before we get into the next section, which will be poetry. Yay! All right, thank you so much, and have a great week. I look forward to reading your writing, and I hope you enjoy the essay. And please try to enjoy it. Writing is fun. All right, thank you. Have a great week.